Greetings everyone, I'm Stefan, and this is Stellaris 2.7 in a nutshell. This update is fairly big, so I decided to make a video like this to cover just the most important elements of it, to make sure you guys don't waste time reading through the entirety of the patch notes. Although, if you are interested in reading through the entirety of the patch notes, link is in the description, and you can always pause the video at any point and read through anything that I have not mentioned directly. But anyways, let's begin at the very top with what are the most important changes added in 2.7. Edicts. Edicts have been reworked almost entirely. Here's a screenshot of how they look like. The way that edicts work now is that you turn on the edict and pay the influence cost. However, you only have to do that once. Then the edict functions until you turn it off, and the edict will of course cost you while it is on. For example, if you go for the extended shifts edict, it will cost you some happiness, and if you go for something like industrial subsidies, it will cost you energy upkeep. A lot of the edicts seem to cost energy upkeep or happiness, so you have to take that into account when choosing to do an edict. You also have to take into account the edict cap. You can only be running so many edicts at once without suffering massive penalties to your Empire Sprawl. Of course, it might be more efficient to just suffer the penalty to Empire Sprawl and just build more bureaucrats. However, I'm not aware of the final numbers, and so that may or may not be efficient to do. Of course, once the whole edict system comes out fully, I'll be doing a full video explanation of everything that is new, but for now, keep in mind that that might be a possibility for the future. Moving on to the next big change, we have a habitat overhaul. Some habitats now work in tiers. You first build a tier 1 habitat, which only has 4 districts to it, then you upgrade it to a tier 2 habitat with 6 districts, and then a tier 3 habitat with 8 districts. The advanced habitats can support basic housing buildings, and when you take the Voidborn Ascension perk, you're going to be able to upgrade them even further. Now, Voidborn has been changed significantly. Instead of giving you 2 districts on your habitats, you now get 2 additional building slots. This is actually quite incredible, especially if you combine it with something like, I don't know, robot assembly plants and clone vats. You're going to be able to get an insane amount of growth speed when you just start colonizing your habitat, and it is going to be incredible. What's also incredible is that habitats are now going to have significantly reduced tech and construction requirements. Now, that makes me wonder whether a run where you start on Doomsday and try to move to habitats is actually possible. If that is so, I might be able to do that and do a one-system Doomsday run one day. Void Dwellers is going to become significantly more interesting now because you're going to be able to, kind of upgrade your planets as you go along, and that's going to be pretty awesome. The only possible issue with habitats now is that their influence cost is going to be paid up front, and unless the devs decided to backtrack on that change, you're going to see some pretty expensive habitats influence-wise to just build the first tier. Afterwards, it's just going to be pure alloy upgrades, and hopefully that's going to be pretty fun to play with. I will definitely be trying to go for habitats a bit more in this new update. The next big change of 2.7 is an increase in the presence of space Xenos. Space Xenos are going to be able to spawn throughout the game, and so you're not going to just kill them at the start and forget about them throughout the entirety of the game. Instead, you're going to have to deal with them throughout the game itself, and hopefully some of these resolutions are going to be quite exciting to work with. Of course, we don't have the final statistics for those yet, and we'll make sure to cover them once the update actually comes out. Next, we have a bunch of miscellaneous changes, and one that I actually really like. In fact, this one change is perhaps my favorite change of 2.7, and if they just release the update with this thing, I'll be very happy. Added a galaxy generation option to completely disable Xeno-Compatibility. Fellow xenophobes, we have won. Now, this really means that you're going to be able to disable this for the sake of performance, because Xeno-Compatibility is one of the biggest factors to late game slowdown, and disabling it completely is something that I'll absolutely do in every single game that I play. Besides this glorious addition to the game, we also have quite a few event chains for all the different Federation types, and I'm looking forward to seeing them in action. One of the biggest and most important changes to Federations is that now you can actually use your favors to convince allies to accept your law proposals. So you're going to be able to, buy favors from them and convince them to change the law to higher centralization, so that, for example, you can be the one in power. If you pay them enough, they'll accept you as your leader. This will definitely help out with Federation dynamics when you have AI in the Federation, but I fear that this may make Federations a little bit too exploity, and you're probably going to be able to just trade some favors and just become the righteous ruler of the galaxy, just because you traded favors and gave them a little bit of food or something. Besides that potentially game-breaking change, we also have a bunch of sounds and visual effects added to the game. So presumably, the game's going to look and sound quite a bit prettier, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. And now, let's talk a little bit about balance. Balance is actually going to be significantly changed in 2.7, although not as much as in some previous versions, such as 2.3. The primary change is going to be to pop growth. Pop growth has been, I would say, nerfed quite a bit, because encouraged planetary growth and a lot of other decisions and policies have been removed from the game, and overall, growth is going to be slowed down. One of the biggest changes of this category has been the removal of the planetary growth decision from the game. This means that in relation to machine empires and hive minds, standard empires are quite a bit less powerful, and also lithoid empires are quite a bit more powerful. One of the biggest drawbacks to playing a lithoid empire in 2.6 was the fact that you cannot do the planetary growth decision. Now, no one can do the planetary growth decision, and so you're on a relatively equal playing field, although you still suffer from the minus 25% pop growth. This means that overall, pop growth is going to be quite a bit slower in this update, and hopefully that leads to less late game slowdown. As far as diplomacy is concerned, the debate time for resolutions has been reduced down to 4 years, which is excellent, although I think the devs didn't go far enough with this change. They should really be reducing it down to like 2 or 3 years, because waiting 4 years to actually get a resolution to pass is far too long. There's also been a couple of changes to edicts that actually makes the discovery tree quite a bit stronger. Now adopting discovery will unlock the Map the Stars edict, which is actually really good for the early game, and databank uplinks, which is another tradition in the discovery tree, will unlock the research subsidies edict. With these two changes, you might actually want to go for the discovery tree as the first thing, and only then go for expansion. Although, honestly, expansion is probably still going to be the best option in the early game, although discovery is going to be a very viable second pick. We are also going to get a bit of a buff to Hive Minds. As you can see, Hive Minds will now treat hive-minded pops that aren't of their species as full members of the hive. That means that you can actually go out as a hive mind, conquer another hive mind empire, and then actually assimilate those pops and use them to your advantage. That is quite excellent, because before you weren't able to really do anything with those pops. Of course, you could purge them for food, or you could purge the robots for alloys, but now you're able to go out and actually get more pops this way. Overall, I am liking these balance changes. You're going to have quite a bit less lag in the late game due to reduced pop growth, and combined with the ability to disable Xeno-Compatibility, you're going to be facing quite a bit less lag in the late game. You're also hopefully going to be able to join multiplayer games as a hot join. Currently, there's an issue where if you try to join as a hot join, you get instantly desynced. However, it looks like a lot of those issues have been fixed. I'll be testing this out as soon as the update comes out, and I'll be posting the results in my Discord. Otherwise, looks like we have some changes to UI, which are not really significant, except for this one right here. Before there was a bug where all your anchorages would just show +4 naval capacity. Now they actually combine together, and so you're not going to be able to have a whole wall of +4s on your screen, which is absolutely excellent. Otherwise, looks like there's a few changes to AI management, and looks like they might have a better economy system now. Who knows? I'll have to test it out, but overall, AI isn't too bad in 2.6, and hopefully it's not going to be too bad in 2.7. Otherwise, looks like we have quite a few bugs that were squashed. You can always pause the video and read through all of these, but the most important ones are these 6. As you can see here, when voting in the galactic community, you're no longer going to be able to call in favors from someone who is already voting in the same way as you, so that is quite nice. Otherwise, you will actually get a truce from kicking an empire from your federation, which was a bit of a bug and a bit of an exploit, because previously you could just start with a hegemony, kick your member and immediately declare war, but now you actually have to wait like 10 years or so. Still doesn't fix the issue of hegemony being broken, but now there's at least a 10-year truce. Otherwise, it looks like the Void Dweller origin has been buffed, and now you can start with the Sol system, which is certainly going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to playing with it and seeing how it goes. Maybe you can still terraform Mars, who knows. Otherwise, looks like the weight of the gateway construction tech has been upped significantly. Before it was actually 0 if you didn't have the gateway, and now you should be able to actually get it, which is quite excellent. Another bug that has been prevalent in 2.6 is the inability to remove the last shipyard from star bases. Otherwise, it looks like there's a change to the enigmatic fortress, and it will no longer regen. So presumably, you're going to be able to disable it once, and then go through the event chain, and who knows what happens. Maybe you're going to be able to have a fleet on standby, and it's just going to smack down the station as soon as it reawakens, or it's going to regen health the moment that it reawakens. Who knows? We'll get to see and try it out. But anyways, that about does it for 2.7. Every time a big update comes out, I do a video like this, so please consider subscribing to the channel if you're interested in more videos on updates. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.